Salisbury's sort of your typical northern suburbs sort of area. It's, you know, there's a lot of drug use and people on welfare, and there's a lot of crime. You know, the further north you go, the more crime there is. Growing up in an environment like that, the odds are against you. So a lot of people will never make it out of that area. That area becomes them. They become a part of the environment. It becomes who they are. You have to be a really strong personality to overcome that. And, you know, a percentage of people do. You know, you learn how to defend yourself. You carry weapons. You're in a state of paranoia a lot. You don't trust anyone else but your friends. And even then, sometimes, you know, your friends would turn on you. So I don't know, I feel like that environment shaped me and I adapted. I feel like humans and any organism, they will adapt to their environment. So if I put you in a rough environment, you would either adapt or you would fall victim to it. And I feel like we're built with this survival mechanism where, like, you know, you learn to adapt. I remember right around this area here, like I'd had 2 ecstasy tablets at this party. They were just starting to kick in. It was getting really heavy, like really good pills, and there was a fight out the front and someone got stabbed. So I chased after him just around these shops here, and he was standing there and it was just blood just pissing out of his neck and out of his head. And I said to him, dude, you gotta lay down, man. You're gonna die, mate. He just fell, like crumbled to the floor in my arms. My pills are kicking in really hard at this point. And I take my t-shirt off and I put it down the hole in his neck. So I start stuffing it down this hole and I'm holding it there, and I get this other girl to hold the t-shirt, and we've got another t-shirt on his head, and the ambulance went to the wrong food land, so we're waiting there for the ambulance, and it finally arrived. But he ended up living, luckily. But yeah, that's just one of the little stories from around here back in the days. I don't think it became normal because I knew that it wasn't happening in other places. You know, I felt like you don't really get used to it, but you sort of learn to accept it. Even as a youngster, I was around an environment where there was alcohol, there was drug use, there was teenagers drinking older than me, and I would be 8, 9 years old and I would be seeing that. There would be domestic violence, I'd see fights, and there'd be police at the house, and that was really young, under 10 years old, and you know, I was always around it. It starts off just wanting to experiment, have fun, and fit in with friends, and I was very fearless. So in the sense that I would, you know, try anything. I remember like saying it to people and they're like, it was taboo for my age group, 14, 15, to be using ecstasy on a regular basis and meth and hard drugs and stuff like that. I liked that I was willing to take drugs that no one else was at my age, and you know, and people had that fear of the unknown, but I felt like I had the courage to do that. When I started dealing drugs, I started to use my own drugs that I was dealing, and then the addiction started to really set in, and I was using meth every day. Because the meth would give me crazy anxiety and I would, you know, get really paranoid, I would use alcohol or other depressants to suppress the anxiety. I was suffering from serious mental illness. Like, that pain that I was feeling inside would spill out onto other people. So it made me into a loose cannon. I was highly strung and I was just churning over all this negative shit in my head. So I was just waiting for the opportunity, you know, and I had mutual friends wanting to sort me out over it, like try to, you know, sort of, how would you say, like discipline me over it, say fucking pull up, you know what I mean? But I was ready too, like if you come to my house to get me, I was ready to stab you, or I'd have a hammer and I'd just smash you in the face with it. And that happened. We always had sort of like a gang of us. It was never like nothing official, it was just a group of mates hanging out. And then I feel, as I got older and older, started to fall into a more sort of organised group of blokes. Fuck, that's hard to say, eh? The friends that I had, you'd either had really good mates that would be with you through thick and thin, and sometimes that would change, like things would happen and you'd have fallings out with people, and usually over bullshit, but yeah, serious things would happen over bullshit, and yeah. Hey! What's going on, bro?
Ah, that's funny as.
Who's that?
That's one of my old mates. Yeah, he's coming back.
I'll just stand
I
from
don't
a
know
distance.
if you want to be filmed.
No, it's oh, okay, you do your thing. Nice to meet you.
Hello, mate.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Well, good. So much. We're just coming to get some few shots here. Just talking about like the old days, you know, we used to muck and that, you know. Oh, mate, this is the Maltz,
There ain't no better place.
I said we used to drink under there. I was telling him about that time. Fucking, I said, we had the whole street cordoned off and we picked bottles and pops that time.
Well, around the time my grandpa died, I was on this sort of a bender, it was a really crazy bender, and I was running around with a gun down my pants because I was just paranoid. I just thought people were coming to get me. We were out the front trying to get into my friend's car. She locked the keys in the car, and bang, these cops come, searched me once, they didn't find it, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna get away. They talked to the girl again, and they come back up to me, and he's like, let me search your pants again, mate. Searched my pants again, and boom, there it was. He found it, he pulled it out, he's like, officer, Sarge, and all of a sudden, boom, they just swarmed me. Yeah, that was it. I got locked up then. That was when the turning point happened, I feel. I don't know, it was like a huge eye-opener. I had this time to like look at all my mistakes, my whole life, from like this new perspective. It was like a sober perspective where I could evaluate everything, I could look at everything, and I could see like, wait a second, my life is only a collection of all the mistakes I've made in my past, and it's led me to here. I just thought, I don't want this to be my life, you know? I thought, fuck this, man. About a month of being out, I always had this seed planted in my head about veganism, and I was talking to my mum, and she was like, I was trying to get her to quit smoking. You know, you shouldn't be smoking, you should be smoking. And she said something to me, she's like, there's a lot of things people do, you know, that need to change parts of their life, but they don't do it. And whatever wording she used and whatever she said, it sent this fucking light bulb off in my head. And I was like, you know what, I've always said I'm gonna go vegan. I understood the hypocrisy in saying, you know, that you like animals, but then eating their dead bodies. And I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And the next day, boom, I just went vegan, spare of the moment. So animals are innocent. Okay, they're more innocent than children. Okay, we live in a society that defends children fiercely. You know, pedophiles, put them in jail, cut their head off, kill them. We don't want them in our society. But animals being so innocent, they suffer their whole life, right? Only to get to be shown no mercy and get their head cut off just so someone can have a sandwich. People are ingesting that suffering, that torture, that death. They're supporting it with their dollar. They're funding an industry and a company that does this to innocent animals. And I feel that there's a lot of negative karma attached to that sort of that product. It's a product of suffering and death. And I would always be in these fights, these arguments, these violent situations with people that I was in conflict with, that either hurt me as a person, that owed me money, or something bad they'd done to affect my life. Animals done nothing wrong to me, so why would I fucking hurt like an innocent chicken? You think you can go throughout your life doing bad shit to innocent animals without nothing bad happening back to you? Oh, that's why there's cancer, there's heart disease. Heart disease is our #1 killer. Saturated fat and cholesterol found in animal products. It's wiping the planet out. It's a #1 killer, more than wars and cancer. When I found out the truth, I had to say something about it. I had to say, like, look what's happening to these animals, you know? Look at that shit. Watch the slaughterhouse footage. Have you fucking seen it? You know, like, I had to speak out about it. It just started off with me doing it in my day-to-day life with people around me, you know, and I'd be talking to people around me, my mum and my brothers and my family, and I'd be like, you gotta hear this, you know? Then I started on social media. Yeah, I couldn't stay silent while this injustice was happening. It's just not me. I've had no better feeling in my life than helping pull people out of the storm. I mean, before I was the storm and pulling people into my storm. It does something to your ego doing that. Yeah, you can make people feel bad. It makes your ego feel good. Yeah, you feel bad because of me. You know, it's a weird feeling, but now it's a better feeling because you're leaving a positive impact. If I fucking pulled the trigger 5 years ago, would I be in this position now that I can help other people? And that's what I try to say to people. Just because you feel like this now doesn't mean you're going to feel like this in 5 years' time. And it doesn't make you weak to be compassionate towards animals. It makes you strong. You might think that the world's not just going to go vegan in this lifetime and that we should just do nothing because, you know, what we are doing is not going to make a massive impact and the world's not going to go vegan overnight. But we didn't abolish slavery overnight either. Women didn't have rights overnight either. Something like this is going to take time. I mean, there's still countries around the world where women have no rights. If we say nothing because we think, oh, what we do say is like not going to make a massive impact straight away, then things will never change. If everyone does what they can, we will slowly create a movement. And once we get a movement, right, once the ball starts rolling, it will start snowballing and we'll reach a tipping point sooner or later. It might not be in my lifetime, but the groundwork will be done.